Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to Follow a Sketch February, and today this is the sketch I'm going to be using. Now, I found it on Pinterest, but it is a PageMaps sketch. I'm just not exactly sure when it was done on PageMaps. Now, it does call for smaller size photos, and I am actually going to be scrapbooking these two 4x6 photos. These are of me and my son. I haven't picked out any papers or anything, so let's see what I can do. So I started off by pulling out some papers, and I pulled out papers based on my photograph, and that is not something I usually do, or I might not consciously do it. This time I consciously chose my papers from my photographs. I knew I wanted to have blue and orange because that is the color of the shirts we were wearing, and I wanted to pull in wood grain somehow because that is the background of the pictures. So I found some paper from Ellie Studio, the Family Fun collection, and that is the wood grain, and also that striped paper that's behind that triangle paper. I decided to keep the wood grain horizontal so that it would mimic the wall slats behind us in the photo, and there would not be perpendicular lines which would kind of clash and wouldn't allow your eye to just move completely across the page really nicely. Now, that triangle paper is from My Mind's Eye, and that is from the Hooray collection. And that thin, very thin orange paper that I am matting my photos on right now, or just finished matting my photos on, came from a Paper Studio paper pad that is called Murphy's Square. And that paper pad has a little bit of distressing throughout. So I went ahead and just kind of guessed how big I needed that extra bit of photo mat on the right hand side because the sketch that I'm following has smaller photos on it. And since these are really not greatly fantastically composed selfies, if I cut down the photos, if I cropped them down, we'd lose most of our faces, and I did not want to find the photos and get on either the phone or the computer to resize them down to smaller sizes because I had sent these photographs out. Now, for the header and the footer on the page, I decided that I was going to use that triangle paper some more, and I was going to use one of the colors of the stripes from the Ellie Studio paper. I went and grabbed two different, what are these things called? I can't remember what these little things are called, these border punches, oh my goodness, guys, scallops. I grabbed two different scalloped borders. One was small and one was larger. I decided almost immediately, as soon as I pushed them down on my page, to go with the smaller scalloped border. And I did not make you watch me punch that out, so you're welcome. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. Now here I'm just using my mat that is underneath of my layout here, just to make sure that I'm getting that scalloped border piece straight on the page. And I had it straight, but there was too big of a gap between that piece and the edge of the page, so I just went ahead and moved it up a little bit. Now, I felt like after I had done both of these that there was just still a little bit of something missing. So I went ahead and cut a little bit more off of that striped paper from Ellie Studio. I went and got the blue, and I decided that that was, an okay thing to do. So I was thinking about putting it completely across the page, but it really was just too much. I needed just a little bit of something extra, just to give it a little bit of pop. But that whole strip across the entire page was just way overwhelming of that blue color. So I like what's going on right here. Now I decided to use this 3x4 card from the same collection from Ellie Studio over here on the right side of the page. And my guesstimate for how big that mat should be over there on that side. Turned out to be pretty good. Now, I was thinking, do I really need this blue piece over here on the left? And I'm not exactly sure what I was thinking, besides I need to figure out something over here. I need some more blue up in this corner. So this other 3x4 card, I trimmed off the little bits of color and decided to layer it up there. And I decided that that would be better than adding those little banner pieces. Because honestly, I didn't want to add all those little banner pieces. Like, the feeling of this layout to me wasn't really a whole lot of banner pieces. I end up using one little banner piece, and not even up there at the top section where the sketch had it. But I think it works where I do put it. So I decided, after all, since there's now so much green right there by us, where those colorful parts are, I definitely needed to add that blue part up there at the top. So there it is. I grabbed this flare that says fun and put it over there, and then surprise, surprise, I found some more LA Studio stuff, and just went ahead and put these gray pieces around. It does say let's eat over here, and it makes sense because these were little photos that we took together before we ate dinner. We were sitting and waiting to be called for our table to be ready. This was before my son had gone to boot camp. Not right before, but before. We just went just to spend some time together, just me and him, and it turned out to be really good. We also, when he came back from boot camp, went to the same Texas Roadhouse, and that was a good time as well. Did not take pictures then. I'm not exactly sure why. So I'm adding some stars and just little bits that need to kind of liven this up. Since I don't have all those banners up at the top, I figured I did need something to jazz up the layout. This is turning out to be a very flat and I would say lightly embellished layout. And I'm totally cool with that. I like having a mixture of layouts in my albums. I like having really, really like crazy over the top embellished layouts, and I like simple layouts, and I like medium, embellished layouts. I would probably consider this a medium. Maybe a medium. Yeah, probably a medium. Now these are little teeny puffy stickers from Gossamer Blue, and these little cameras are super cute, so I just go ahead and sprinkle these little bits around, just because I do feel like I need a little bit of excitement, because I have this excitement going on where that flare badge is, and I know I'm going to be adding a little bit more around there. And I have this excitement on the bottom, so I knew I needed to make the top exciting as well. And it kind of does that loose diagonal thing. It's almost a diagonal and a straight drop, but anyway, it's close enough. It flows to me. To me, it flows, this page kind of flows in two ways. One, it flows horizontally from left to right because of the background paper and the lines of the photos, and it also kind of flows diagonally because of the embellishment I do have goes from the top left to the bottom right. And I find that that is probably something I do a lot, is have my embellishment go kind of on a diagonal. I think that's because it really looks balanced to me. Even when I have my photos off to the side, I feel like I'm always trying to achieve balance on my scrapbook pages. So sometimes I'm probably better at it than others. Now this is a label sticker from Recollections, and it's really thin and flimsy, and I do know that if I put it where I wanted it to, then the sticker was going to have all the lines from the layers underneath of it. So the only thing I did was put it on an offcut of one of those 3x4 cards, and then I just went ahead and cut around it. And honestly, I didn't take my time. My husband was in my scrapbooking room, and I was talking to him, and he was playing videos, and just like a lot of stuff was going on, and I really wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. So I just went ahead and did a quick little cut, and it's not perfect. You can see white underneath of it. Like, it's just not perfect. I probably should have inked it a little bit, but in my mind, I was thinking I don't want to bring in ink because I haven't inked anything else. But you know what? This layout has enough of a distressed kind of feeling. I probably could have inked that one little thing, and I wouldn't have even noticed when I was flipping through my album again when I look at, layouts and stuff. Now, I pulled out those little plus sign enamel shapes and decided not to go with them because I already had heart or stars and arrows and cameras. So I didn't want to add another kind of generic motif. I pulled out these word stickers, and they were from Authentique, and that says good times, and I just kind of like wonkily placed them over top of that little cluster I have going on there. And now I'm looking for some letter stickers, and at first I thought I was going to go ahead and use some big ones. Oh, oops, I actually got the little tiny word stickers instead. So I just cut down a Simple Stories tiny word sticker that says you and me so that it fit inside the white part of that label there. And I'm going through my chipboard right here. I thought I had done my title before I went and looked at chipboard, but I guess not. And I pulled off this orangey one that says currently, and I layered that down there on the bottom so it says currently dinner, because that is what we were doing. We went to dinner. And now I'm just thinking about the title and how it's going to fit in there. And see, my finger is like right there, and then I need to tap because tapping helps me think about what I have. Now I go over to my letter stickers, which are off to the left, and I think I'm going to use these large navy blue letter stickers from Gossamer Blue. And I'm thinking I could probably make this fit. But then when I put it on there, the blue is it's just too many shades different than the blue that's already on the page, and it really clashes in my mind. It's not a good match. Even if it was like a little shade off, I would work with it, which is kind of what these tile stickers are from American Crafts, these blue ones. They're just slightly off. They're not completely the same shade, but they're just slightly off, so it works. Now these puffy orangey stickers are from Gossamer Blue as well, and man, I love these stickers. They're sticky, which is important because most letter stickers aren't sticky. I mean, they'll stick to their backer, but they're not sticking to your pages. So that made me ridiculously happy. They're just sticky, and they're easy to place. They're easy to line up. It's like they were perfectly manufactured so that all the letters were the same size. Sometimes you get letter stickers that just aren't. Sometimes the S's are a little bit bigger than the T's, and the M's are a little bit smaller than the O's. You know what I'm talking about? Sometimes they're just not the right size. And there are moments where that doesn't bother me whatsoever if my letters aren't completely the right size because, maybe I'm going to bounce them around a little bit, or maybe I kind of like that little slightly off-kilter look. But then there are moments like these where I really wanted it to be straight because of the straight lines on the background paper. And they turned out to be pretty straight. So I go ahead and get those down, and then I decide that I'm going to add a little bit of the Maya Road Mist, and I think it's called like golden yellow, but it's always come out orange for me. And I feel like it's gotten darker since I've had it, and I've had it a couple years, but I definitely feel like it's getting darker. So it's definitely more orange than it ever was. And then I'm just going to add the journaling about how we went out to Texas Roadhouse for some delicious steak, and it was a good time, and we always have a good time when we go out to eat. And then I also added a little line or when we go shopping because I really enjoy just spending time with my son. He's got a great sense of humor. He's, quick-witted. It's just a good time spending with my kid. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching, and check out tomorrow's video because we're doing Follow a Sketch February all month long. And I will see you then.